With Voxi, I can be endless.
Whilst we were filming the action with Zoom and managing the talent with Zoom, we were also picking it up on 4K devices, and those devices were also being filmed so that we had directorial control of the framing and everything else that was going on. So in its it was a bit like the sort of mousetrap, the old game Mousetrap. Everything was sort of balanced in service of each other.
I think what's very interesting in this process is we're just as present as a client throughout the whole process electronically. It was probably, I would say in some ways, one of the most organized, because it was to the minute organized, because you are every 15, 20 minutes, are you happy with this? Are you comfortable with this? Can we go? And literally every minute counts.
So where did the idea originate? Maybe it's a silly question, but was it pre-existing or was it entirely devised in lockdown?
Actually, we were 16 days from sort of launching the campaign when we went into lockdown. So lots of the strategic and creative work had been done in sort of building a new brand platform for Voxi. The campaign that we were going to air was very much about how a young person was using social media to get the most out of the world around her. And obviously, overnight that world had changed. So that was kind of the pivot point for us. We basically went, right, we've got 16 days, but we need a new expression of that. So the campaign was written, produced, directed and post-produced in 16 days.
So in theory, creative is approved.
The tone of the piece will be organic, responsive, relatable, fun and optimistic.
It would give us, 16 hours to get together a treatment.
If only we had more days in a week.
This wasn't just Redder, our actor, sort of doing his own thing in his flat. This was very much kind of as you would normally approach a production. It was storyboarded. We knew where certain scenes would be taking place. It was scripted, although we very much looked to Redder to bring his own sort of humour and energy to it.
The other thing on the casting is the point you raised, Jon, is the authenticity of the actor, because the reality is there is no hair, there is no makeup, there is no stylist. So you get the full package, which is quite different. You can't transform them into the role that you want. They have to already be the person in the role that you want.
And I think it shows in the work. I think the work's got an energy to it and a life to it that doesn't feel like it's being forced, or that doesn't feel like it's that it's sort of been overthought about, or you can feel it in the work.
That question about taking things forward, are you going to be chomping at the bit and raring to, when all this is over, go out and shoot a really big glitzy ad, or are you going to take some of the lessons from this and carry them forward?
Yeah, it was always the ambition of this, and even the ad that we had shot. I think we were shooting 9th of March and lockdown was like the 13th. We literally had just closed the shoot before lockdown. The ambition is always to make Voxi a brand born of social. It changes how you can express that, because it had to be shot on the phone and it needed to be in a single location. So that's the bit of change, but it's always going to have a point of view through the lens of the phone and through the lens of social, because that's the platform of the brand.
I think the things that we will carry forwards, and the thing that I think has definitely we've had our eyes open to, is how you can very easily innovate your production processes, and actually in finding different ways to make things, you actually bring a point of difference to the brands and to the work that you're creating. So I would definitely be encouraging everybody at Ogilvy to sort of think differently about how we innovate our production processes, how we integrate those in our creative thinking so that they actually become part of the idea as well, because it's really powerful. I think time is definitely one of the biggest challenges, and as Maria said, that's the pressure it puts on the team. It is an endurance sport. We were 16 days, but it was also 16 nights, and it was weekends, and it was so. I think in that sense, time is definitely a challenge.
Can you give me any information or sense of what the next ad will be?
This is why I put my foot in it. So Maria, you have to be the voice here.
All I can tell you is going to be just as good.
Okay.
So we are. It's sort of like Star Wars. We launched the prequel before or we came out before you even saw episode 1. So we've gone back to 0. Now we're going to come to 1. But I think it's given us confidence in this platform. So we're going to continue on this journey.
My creative director's just arrived.
She's working out.
The magic of Peppa Pig wore off, didn't it?
Oh dear.
I don't blame her. There's only so much Peppa Pig.